There is no doubt the stars at night are big and bright in the state of Texas, but on Fridays, it's the stadium lights that put those stars to shame. Welcome back to CBS 7. I'm Marshall Hughes, and no bigger lights than at Ratliff Stadium tonight. Permian set to face Abilene. This game getting attention all across the state tonight. Both teams are 1-0 in district. Permian 6-0 on the year. Abilene is 5-1. Now, if you're feeling real adventurous, the Pacific Ocean is just a couple miles away. You can rent one of these bicycles, come on down here, maybe test out some surfing. That sound good, guys?
Yeah.
It has been a record-breaking 7 games for the Permian Panthers this season. Welcome back to CBS 7. I'm Marshall Hughes. We're live at Grande Stadium in Midland, where the Panthers will soon take on the Midland Bulldogs. Mojo off to a 7-0 start this season. This is a team who scored 70 points in one game. In that game, they totaled 656 yards. Both of those are school records, and that was the first game of the season. Since then, all they've done is win. Permian has outscored its opponents by a combined 301 points this season. Mojo magic is real. You take away those gaudy numbers, though, and it's not hard to see where the advantage is for Permian. It's experience. Blake Felt's 74-man roster features 40 seniors. 10 of those on defense they returned from last year, and they're all starting. 8 on offense. Felt has also changed the culture of this team. I talked with him this week about how he's been able to bring Permian back to being a West Texas power. Rain has fallen here for the past hour, still coming down very strong. Let's talk about football, though. Permian against Odessa. Tonight, the crosstown rivalry, the 57th edition of that rivalry, is set to be a good one. Permian comes in ranked number 10 in the state at 8-0. The Broncos sitting at 2-6, last in district, but that's not slowing down the excitement tonight. In Texas, we do things big. So how big a video board are we talking about? Well, you see the one behind me. This is the one that currently stands at Ratliff Stadium. Been there about 10 years. It's a decent size. And you see the video screen. You can fit about 5 of those in the new video board. It's going to be 27 feet high by 50 feet wide, all for a cool $1.2 million. For the record, I found out about Ellis's injury after I agreed to try the sport out myself.
Feeling quite nervous.
They paired me with Big White. I was having problems way before I had to worry about the bull.
Smash it down.
There's nothing quite like sitting on an animal that weighs about the same as my car.
Oh. Big White looks angry.
Pull it back towards you just a little bit.
Is Big White getting mad when that happens?
Yeah, he knows it's go time. When it feels good, go ahead and on.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
There's a good chance that you weren't a fan of the way Cam Newton acted after Super Bowl 50. It's not a news story, but it's the latest story. Many are calling Cam a sore loser after he wore a hooded sweatshirt to his press conference only to walk out during the middle. Could he have acted better? Sure. Does it really matter? Well, some are saying it sets a bad example for kids that call him their role model. I started playing tackle football in the 1st grade. My team made it to the championship game every year, and we lost every time. My high school team lost in the 3rd round of the playoffs my senior year. I didn't want to talk to anyone after those losses, and not because I saw someone do the same thing on TV. It was because I hate to lose, just like Cam. And minor moments. We're talking about Super Bowl 50 here. He's been criticized all season because he apparently has too much fun on the field. For every dab he throws down after scoring, well, a kid in the stands is also getting a free football from him. Now we're calling him a sore loser? Yeah, maybe, but that's not the worst title you can give someone these days. That's my take. Here's Cam's. We've hit the dog days of summer. The Midland Rockhounds are on the road in Corpus Christi tonight. The team is once again filled with players who you could see in the big leagues one day, but none of them own the title of being the fan favorite. That belongs to a yellow Labrador Retriever. A ballpark is a dog's paradise. I hadn't really thought about it until I met Bailey, but all the essentials are there. Green grass, leftover food from concessions, and an endless supply of chew toys. At least the dog thinks so.
The first pitch ball, the umpire throws the ball out on the mound, and she'll come running out and steal it from the mound before the game starts, so that's always a kick in the pants, but we enjoy having Bailey around.
Bailey is Monty Sal's right-hand pup. You won't find the Midland head groundskeeper at the ballpark without her.
I've decided that dogs are better than people a lot of days. This one here, I can't hardly ruffle her feathers, which is always a good problem.
Sal is no stranger to owning a ballpark dog. The groundskeeper began working in Midland 5 years ago with Ruby by his side. When the two took a job with the Naturals in Northwest Arkansas, the Black Lab became a star, even receiving a sponsorship with Iams. She passed away at 13 last season, leaving Sal needing a new assistant.
I just, wanted to have a good dog that I could take to work every day, and that's what I had with Ruby, and I've really been blessed to have this with Bailey.
At 10 months old, Bailey is still a puppy, and while she has potty training pretty much down, she still has a few close calls just like the rest of us.
We're getting ready for the first pitches, and she walks right by home plate there and drops dogs right there on the grass, and the crowd cheers, which I really don't understand, because if your dog drops dogs in your living room floor, you don't cheer. If your dog, you walk out in the backyard and you step a pile of poop, you don't cheer, but you go to the ballpark and the dog poops on the field, she got a roaring round of applause.
Have you ever stepped in something you didn't want to?
Have not done that yet, thank goodness.
Despite the mishap, the Yellow Lab has quickly turned into the fan favorite, even sharing the love with the visiting team.
Even the opposing team members, yep. Everybody loves Bailey. I love dogs, and Bailey's a very cute dog. She's very fun to have around. She's finally warming up to us. She used to be pretty scared of us, so it's nice that she's actually interacting now.
The city of Odessa and the sport of boxing do not have a rich tradition together. Sure, there are thousands who love the sport in West Texas and have trained in the ring as a way of exercise or self-defense. But to this day, there are no records of anyone from Odessa who has competed in boxing at the highest level. Joey Alday is 4 fights away from becoming the first. Joey Alday has always wanted to compete in the Olympics.
You would be in class and they'd ask you, what did you want to do when you grow up? I told them I wanted to go to the Olympics in boxing, and teachers would look at me like I was crazy.
The 20-year-old is 4 fights away from proving his teachers wrong. After winning his weight class at last month's Olympic trials qualifier in Colorado, Alday needs 4 more wins to call himself an Olympic boxer.
Now that I have a chance and it's so close, it's like, man, is this really happening?
Joey is currently ranked #1 in the country in his 152-pound weight class. He won a national championship in 2013 and again in 2014. He was on his way to defending his title in January when a broken nose delayed his plans.
It was crazy, man. I thought it was a bad dream. It just happened out of nowhere, man. I had already beat the guy that I was fighting, and we clashed heads, man, and real hard.
That kind of killed everything, man. I mean, that was an Olympic qualifier right there if he'd have won that nationals.
Fortunately for Alday, it was a clean break and would heal on its own. But the next 6 months would test the boxer more than ever.
Yeah, I thought it was over, man. I was thinking the worst.
It was real hard for him, He looked pretty bad the first time he started getting in the ring. His timing was off. Everything looked horrible. He just didn't look like Joey.
It sucks to train for nothing, It felt like I was training for nothing. I was in the gym for 6 months straight, not doing nothing.
The Odessa Boxing Club looks like any other house on Edgeport Drive in North Odessa. I got my first look in November when Alday was training for that 3rd title. Nothing says Olympic Games quite like an unfinished paint job and a pair of boxing rings topped with carpet. But it's a style that the Olympic hopeful has pride in.
A lot of world champions and world-class athletes, they started from nothing, and I guess I'm one of those. I mean, you see around here, it's not the nice facility in the world, but we use what we got, and it's been working.
This is where it starts, right here. This is all the hard work right here.
Raymond Franco owns the boxing club that's actually across the street from his home. Franco said he didn't box himself as a kid because his family could not afford it. He's never trained an athlete quite like Joey Alday either. That leaves him just as excited about the thought of having an Olympic boxer come from his gym.
You know what a peacock looks like when it spreads its tail, that it's all happy? That would probably be me walking around with my tail just like that all over everywhere. Oh yeah, I would be happy. I would be real proud.
Alday will continue to train for the next 4 months before the Olympic qualifier, but his boxing goals go well beyond his next fight.
I want people to look back 40, 50 years from whenever I retired and be like, man, he was great. He was one of the greatest,
CBS 7 Sports Player of the Week, sponsored by your Texas Ford dealers.
Sandman! Hold up! Hold up! Mojo got the game sold up! Sold up! Sandman! Hold up! Hold up! Mojo got the
Brandon Bailey is an expert at getting his team and its fans on their feet. Bailey ran for 196 yards with 3 touchdowns in Mojo's 59-0 blowout win over Midland on Friday. The win put Permian at 8-0 and one step closer to a district title.
Offensively, I think it was the best game that we've played all year long. Brandon kind of does what he's been doing each and every week and had another great game. Ran very, very hard, made some great plays. So I was proud of him, as I was the offensive line. I think it was our offensive line's best game.
We just come out and play the game because we like to, you know. We love the game, and we're just blessed to do it.
The senior has been running past the defense since he was 5, except back then it was his siblings trying to bring him down, and they did.
My brothers, they used to take me outside, and they used to always hit me, so I guess I can take a hit.
Bailey can also give a hit. A running back's job is to avoid defenders, but that's Bailey's favorite part of the game.
Contact, you know, I love contact. So any way I can dish the punishment or even just give a mean stiff arm, it excites me.
He's like a little bowling ball going through there. He's not very tall, but he doesn't get hurt and he keeps moving. And he's hard to bring down.
At 5'7", Bailey has used his height as his advantage. After Friday, Bailey has run for over 3,600 yards in 3 years. The senior is now 70 yards shy of passing Chris Comer at number 4 on Permian's all-time rushing list.
It's unbelievable. You know, back then I would never thought that I'd be in the position I am right now, and I'm just blessed to be in it.
He obviously likes to have the ball in his hands, and that's a good thing because when he's got the ball in his hands, he can do some good things with it.
All right, Brandon, you totaled 196 yards on the ground Friday in the win to go with 3 touchdowns behind this big offensive line you got here. Those numbers have earned you the West Texas Ford Dealers Player of the Week!